the Israelites were freed from slavery in Egypt, they traveled for a long, long time before they got to the land that God had promised to them. And that is the backdrop of our story today. We're going to learn about a wonderful tradition for God's people. It's called Jubilee. Can you say that? Jubilee. It's a way of starting over. When we are given a fresh start, we see, feel, and trust how God's abundance is meant for all people and creation. As you listen to the story today, think about what it's like for you to have a fresh start.
The people of Israel journeyed through the vast wilderness for many years. Finally, they arrived at Mount Sinai where they rested. God gave instructions to their leader Moses for their life together in the new land. These were the things God said. In this land, we will practice Sabbath together. This will happen not only on the seventh day, but on the seventh year. For 6 years, we'll do our regular work and plant seeds. We'll grow and prune and harvest fruits. But in the seventh year, we'll let the land rest. Even the land needs peace and quiet. Everyone will be able to harvest and eat whatever the land gives us in that seventh year. In the 50th year, we will celebrate Jubilee together. This will be like the Sabbath every 7 years where we let the land rest. It will be a fresh start for the whole community, the land and the people, and everyone will go to their own homes and be together in joy. It's a holy time, and we will be fed and nourished by whatever the land gives us. In this time, we will respond with justice by giving fresh starts. This means that we will be fair and honest to one another. We will take care of those who are sick, alone, old, or need help. We will welcome people who are from different countries, and they will be like family to us. We will work for people's freedom. We will work together to help everyone rest and rejoice in God's abundance. I will bless the land during this year so you do not have to work the land. I promise we will all be fed and nourished by the land's gifts.
Hey, Ben.
Hi.
Today, our stories talk a lot about fresh starts. Can you tell me what you think that a fresh start is?
Like something on Captain Underpants, where they're having fun and doing it the right way.
You like to play video games?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Do you always win? Like,
No.
when you play Mario Kart, sometimes you don't come in first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes I do, and sometimes I win and I don't.
When you lose on a game of Mario Kart, have you lost forever, or do you get to start again?
I get to start again.
Yeah. When we talk about justice, we think about it as setting things right. And so even if there's things that are not right in the world, if there is justice, then they are made right, right? And so sometimes that means getting a fresh start. And when we talk about Sabbath and taking rest and taking the time to rest, that's giving ourselves a fresh start too, right? And God tells us to do that. In our Bible story this week for Compassion Camp, it talks about Jubilee. And do you know that in Jubilee, it's also important not just for people to rest, but for the land to rest too. So you might grow crops on land for 6 years, but in the 7th year, you would let that land rest. You would set it right so that it could have a fresh start and have time to rest so that the next year it could grow crops and be really productive, right? At Jubilee, it was about giving people and land a fresh start. Thanks for hanging out with me. So what do you imagine when you hear the word justice? Do you imagine courthouses or police officers? Or do you imagine what happens when someone hurts you and they're punished for it? Do you imagine it's like equal treatment? Everyone gets the same amount of food and treats? Often God's ideas are very different than ours. God's idea of justice looks more like all of the ways that we've talked about compassion, seeing and being welcoming, being brave and honest, loving ourselves, being present with each other. It means we see God's abundance. What does abundance mean? It means that there's enough for everyone. When things are set right, no one goes without. We can welcome all to the table, and we can be brave and we can trust one another. We can be honest with our hearts, and we can give and receive care. And we can do the work of God to care for all of creation. So let's say a compassion prayer together.
So like we've been doing, place one hand on your head and one hand on your heart. We do that because compassion happens in our brain and we often feel it in our hearts. So repeat after me this prayer. Joyful spirits, your loving hands are always creating freedom, release, and fresh starts. Help us do the same today by caring for all living things with gentleness and care. Open us to humbly receive that same care ourselves. Make our hearts smile and our actions sing with your promise of abundance toward the whole world. Amen.